You know, I was walking down the street this morning, trying to dodge traffic, looking at the grime on the sidewalk, hearing that incessant jackhammer noise from construction.
Ah, the city soundscape.
And honestly, it all felt very ordinary, gritty, just the daily grind.
The unglamorous reality of a Tuesday morning.
Exactly. And then I started prepping for this deep dive, looking at the notes on chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita, and I realized we were about to argue that that specific grime, that noise,
That guy cutting you off in traffic.
is actually God.
That is the pitch. And it's a hard sell, isn't it?
It's a massive sell.
Yeah.
Because I think for most of us, even if we're spiritual, we tend to file the divine away in a specific folder. It's up there, it's clean, it's pure, it's definitely not on the subway station.
Right, the distant architect, the guy in the clouds who built the house but doesn't, live in the basement.
But today we're diving into Vibhuti Yoga. And our sources, including some really heavy-hitting lectures by Swami Sarvapriyananda, are basically screaming at us to stop looking up.
And start looking around.
Yes, it's a radical shift.
It is. This is really where the rubber meets the road in the text. We aren't just talking about abstract philosophy anymore.
No.
We're talking about perception. Vibhuti translates to divine glory or splendor.
Right.
And the argument chapter 10 makes is that the universe isn't just made by God, it is the splendor of God.
It's the difference between seeing a painting and meeting the painter, but then realizing.
The painter is the paint.
Whoa. Okay. And our mission today is to figure out how those mechanics actually work. Because if you just skim the chapter, it really does look like a laundry list.
It does. I am the lion, I am the shark, I am the wind.
It's poetic, sure.
Yeah.
But we want to get past the poetry and understand the cosmology that allows you to look at a shark or a jackhammer and see divinity.
We want to find that bridge. The bridge between the transcendent God and this messy world.
So before we get to the sharks and the wind, situate us. Where are we in the book?
Context is everything here. The Gita is 18 chapters long. You can broadly slice it into 3 chunks of 6. The first 6, that's all about the self, who are you?
Right.
The last 6 are about the identity between the self and God. But the middle 6, chapters 7 through 12,
That's where we are.
that is the God section. We are deep in the realm of bhakti or devotion.
Okay, so we've tackled the self part. We aren't just these bodies. And now we're asking, how did this universe even get here?
And the sources make a really interesting distinction right off the bat between 2 types of creation stories.
This feels important.
Oh, this is critical to understanding the chapter. If you grew up in the West, or really in most theistic traditions, you probably hold what we call the Carpenter theory.
The Carpenter. Walk me through that, because that sounds like Sunday School 101.
It is. Imagine a carpenter building a dining table.
Yep.
You have 2 distinct elements involved.
Okay.
You have the carpenter, that's the intelligence, the designer. In Sanskrit, we call that the nimitta karana, the intelligent cause.
Okay. The mind behind the project.
And then you have the wood, the lumber. That's the material, the upadana karana, or material cause. The carpenter takes the wood, cuts it, shapes it.
And nails it together. Simple enough.
But here's the catch, and this is what shapes our worldview. The carpenter is not the table.
Right.
Once the table is built, the carpenter can go home, have a sandwich, move to another city. The table stays there. They are separate.
The table isn't made of carpenter flesh.
It's made of wood, and that's how we usually view God. God made the world, and now God is somewhere else, watching.
Exactly. This dualistic view. God created the world, but God is separate from it.
But the Gita and the Vedantic view we're looking at today flips this entirely with a different creature.
The spider.
The spider analogy. This is the great aha moment of the Upanishads and the Gita. Think about a spider spinning a web. Where does the material for that web come from?
It comes out of the spider. It's basically part of the spider.
Correct. The spider doesn't go to Home Depot to buy thread. The spider is the intelligence. It knows the geometric pattern, but it is also the material source.
It spins the universe out of its own being.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a cool nature fact. But if we apply that to God, that gets wild.
It gets incredibly wild, because if God is the spider, then God is both the intelligent cause and the material cause.
So the universe isn't just designed by God.
No. The universe is made of God stuff.
Let me just pause on that for a second,
Right.
because that has huge implications. With the table, I can touch it and say, this is wood. I know the substance is wood if the universe is the web.
Then when you touch the universe, when you touch a tree, a dog, your own arm, that grime on the sidewalk you mentioned,
You are touching the substance of the divine. You are touching God.
That's the immanence the sources keep talking about.
Wow.
Yes, God is immanent, present in and through every single atom. God isn't watching the movie from a projection booth.
God is the screen, God is the film, God is the light.
Everything. It's a lot to process.
It really changes the whole game. It's not God is watching me, it's I am made of the same stuff as God.
It is a shift in reality. And that shift in perspective is what Chapter 10 is trying to stabilize.
How?
Because it's one thing to hear that philosophically and another to actually live it. The sources lay out a framework here. 3 ways to see the world. 3 lenses you can wear.
Okay, let's try them on. What's lens number 1?
Lens number 1 is called heya. It basically means to be discarded.
Discarded. That sounds pretty bleak, like we should just toss the world in the trash.
Well, it's the world as a trap view. You look at the world and you see suffering. You see anicca, or impermanence. You realize that everything is changing.
Which is true. I mean, bank accounts change, health changes, relationships change.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for stability, the world is a terrible place to find it.
Right. And if you pin your happiness on those changing things, you're setting yourself up for a crash.
Oh, yeah.
So the heya view says, this is all unstable. Reject it. Renounce it.
Go to the Himalayas, sit in a cave, and close your eyes.
Pretty much.
Valid. But not exactly practical for someone with a mortgage and a cat to feed. I can't just check out.
No. So what's lens number 2?
Lens number 2.
It's divya, the divine. This is the lens of Chapter 10. It says, don't reject the world. Reframe it.
Reframe it how?
See it as Vibhuti. See it as the glory of God. If the world is the web spun from the divine spider, then the world itself is sacred.
So you don't have to leave the world to find God.
You just have to look at the world deeper.
It's like instead of seeing the table as just dead wood, you see it as the presence of the carpenter.
Even better. And just for completionism, there is a third lens, Brahman, where you see everything as one total non-duality, but that's the advanced class.
So Chapter 10 wants us to hang out in Divya.
It wants us to fall in love with the manifestation.
You know, this reminds me of that old Philosophy 101 argument, the watchmaker.
Mm-hmm.
If you find a watch in the forest, you know there was a designer because it's so complex. Is that what Krishna is doing here? Is he proving he exists by pointing at the cool stuff?
That's a really sharp distinction to make. William Paley's watchmaker is a logical proof. He's trying to convince your brain.
Look at the complexity of the eye. There must be a God.
Exactly. Krishna isn't doing that. He isn't trying to debate you.
So what is he doing?
He's offering a sadhana, a spiritual practice. He's not saying, believe in me because the sun exists. He's saying, you already see the sun. You already feel its warmth.
Right.
Now consciously overlay that experience with the understanding that this is my light.
It's experiential. It's not a debate. It's a way of seeing.
Exactly. Paley wants a verdict. Krishna wants you to feel a presence. He wants to turn your everyday perception into an act of worship.
I like that. It feels more active. But the chapter doesn't just stay outside with the sun and stars, right? It goes internal.
It does. Verses 4 and 5 start listing things like intellect, fearlessness, forgiveness.
The internal landscape.
This is where it gets personal. Because if God is the material of the universe, he is also the material of your mind.
The one that stood out to me was intellect or booty. In our world, intellect is usually IQ, processing speed.
Raw horsepower. How fast can you solve the puzzle or write the code?
Yeah. But booty in the Gita is different.
It's discernment. It's the ability to cut through the noise and see what's real. It's wisdom, not just smarts. It's knowing what's truly valuable in life.
And then there's forgiveness. The sources had this incredible story about a snake. To explain the nuance here,
Oh, yeah.
we have to tell the snake story because I think it clears up a massive misconception about spiritual people just being doormats.
It's a classic for a reason.
So picture a village, and there's this massive venomous cobra terrorizing everyone.
A real problem.
People are getting bit. Kids are scared to go outside.
Yeah.
A monk comes walking through,
What does monks do in these stories?
and he sees the chaos. He finds the snake, gives it a mantra, and tells it, look, you have to stop this violence, no more biting.
A lesson in ahimsa, non-violent.
Right. And the snake takes it seriously. It goes full pacifist. It retreats to its hole.
But the villagers.
The villagers, they notice the snake isn't biting anymore.
And humans being humans.
Exactly. They take advantage. They start throwing rocks at it, poking it with sticks. Eventually, they're grabbing it by the tail and whipping it around.
Awful.
The snake is battered, starving, basically on death's door. It's miserable. It tried to be holy, and it got destroyed for it.
A tragic image.
So the monk comes back a year later, sees this broken creature, and asks, what happened to you? And the snake whispers, I followed your advice. I practiced nonviolence. And look at me.
And here is the punchline.
This is the core lesson. The monk looks at him and says, "You fool, I told you not to bite.
I didn't tell you not to hiss.
I didn't tell you not to hiss." That hit me hard.
It's such a powerful distinction. Spiritual life, and really just a healthy life, requires internal forgiveness. You don't hold the poison of anger inside.
You don't bite.
But it also requires practical boundaries. You need the hiss.
You need the hiss to survive in the world.
You protect yourself. You show strength. But inside, you remain calm. That balance, that ability to navigate the world without getting eaten, but without becoming a monster.
That is also a vibhuti, a glory of God.
Yes.
I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
Hiss, don't bite. Okay, so we have the internal stuff. But then Arjuna, the warrior who is listening to all this, he basically asks,
Give me the cheat sheet.
yeah, okay, Krishna, this is great philosophy, but give me specifics. Where exactly should I look for you?
And Krishna gives him the greatest hits list. We call these the vibhutis. And the logic he uses is fascinating.
Which is?
He points to the most excellent, powerful, or beautiful thing in any given category.
Why, just the best things. Why not the mediocre things? If he's everywhere, isn't he in lukewarm coffee?
He is, but remember, this is a practice for beginners. Excellence catches our attention. It evokes wonder.
Oh.
When you see the Grand Canyon or a super athlete at the top of their game or a genius, your jaw drops. That feeling of wow, that awe.
That's the doorway.
That is the easiest doorway to seeing the divine. So he uses the things that already make us go wow as a hook.
I see.
So he says, among lights, I am the sun. Among stars, I am the moon. Among bodies of water, I am the ocean.
End sound.
Among words, I am the single syllable OM.
OM is everywhere in this tradition. But the breakdown on the notes was really cool. It's not just a hum.
No, it's a map of consciousness. You have A for the waking state, U for the dream state, for the deep sleep state.
And the silence after.
That is the turiya, the underlying consciousness that holds it all. So when Krishna says, I am OM, he's saying, I am the entire spectrum of your reality.
That's deep.
Yeah.
But then we hit a snag. Because in the middle of this beautiful list, sun, moon, ocean, OM Krishna drops a line that makes people stop.
The record scratch moment.
I am the gambling of the deceitful.
Yes.
I mean, come on. How can God be a vice? How can God be the cunning of a cheat? That feels wrong.
This is where the spider analogy really gets tested.
It feels wrong morally. Like, is God endorsing Vegas?
It feels wrong morally, but ontologically, in terms of what exists, it has to be true.
Explain that.
If God is the material cause of the universe, God is the energy behind everything. You cannot have a cheat without the intelligence to deceive. You cannot have the act of gambling without the existence provided by the divine.
So he's not saying cheating is good.
No, he's saying even there, it's a radical inclusivity. If you say God is only in the church but not in the casino, you've limited God.
You've made God small.
You've created a place where God isn't. The Gita is saying there is nothing outside of God. Even the power misused by the gambler is, at its core, divine power.
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow, but I get the logic. It's absolute.
Yeah.
If you want a God of everything, you have to accept everything is in God.
Precisely. And speaking of this, the list also dives into mythology. There are some stories here that I think really paint a picture of these divine traits.
The deep cuts of the Puranas.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get into the lore. Let's talk about Bhrigu. The text says, among sages, I am Bhrigu.
Who was this guy?
So Bhrigu is the guy who decided to run a performance review on God.
He wanted to know who among the Trinity Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu was the greatest.
That sounds dangerous.
Very. And his method was aggressive. He goes to Brahma and Shiva and disrespects them, totally ignores them. They both fly into a rage.
She failed the test.
They lose their cool. So then he goes to Vishnu. He finds Vishnu sleeping. And Bhrigu, in his arrogance, remember, he's a great sage who has a big ego. He kicks Vishnu right in the chest to wake him up.
I cannot imagine kicking a god in the chest ends well. That sounds like a smiting waiting to happen.
You'd expect a lightning bolt
Yeah.
or instant vaporization. But Vishnu wakes up, sees the sage standing there, and immediately takes Bhrigu's foot in his hands and starts massaging it.
He massages the foot that kicked him.
He says, my chest is hard like a diamond and your foot is soft. I hope you didn't hurt yourself.
Wow. Talk about killing them with kindness.
And the legend says that by massaging the foot, Vishnu pressed a specific point that removed the eye of ignorance located in Bhrigu's foot.
The eye in the foot.
It's symbolic. It represents the ego, the arrogance that allows you to kick the divine. Vishnu didn't destroy Bhrigu. He destroyed Bhrigu's ignorance.
So the glory of Vishnu wasn't his power to zap people, but his power to forgive even the ultimate insult.
Precisely. That is the Vibhuti.
There's another one, Prahlada. Among demons, I am Prahlada.
This is a fan favorite because it breaks that good versus evil binary. Prahlada was born into a clan of Asura's demons. His father was the demon king.
Basically the enemy of God.
But Prahlada, he was a born devotee, a saint in a family of demons.
Wow.
The father tries to kill him multiple times. Finally, the father challenges him. He kicks a stone pillar in the palace and screams, "You say your God is everywhere. Is he in this pillar?"
The imminence question again.
And Prahlada says yes. The father smashes the pillar and God bursts out as Narasimha, the man-lion avatar to protect the boy.
God breaks out of the pillar. I love that image.
The insight here is profound. God is present even in the clan of demons. You can't gatekeep God. Environment doesn't limit the divine.
Okay, one more quick one from the sources, Patanjali. We usually think of him as the yoga guy, but the backstory is bizarre.
Oh, the grammar class.
Yeah, this sounded like a Harry Potter subplot.
So, Patanjali is considered an incarnation of the cosmic serpent. He descends to teach grammar to 1,000 students. But because his form is so intense, literally breathing fire, he teaches from behind a curtain.
And the rule is, don't look behind the curtain.
Naturally. But curiosity kills the cat, or the students. One student peeks, the curtain lifts, the cosmic energy hits them, and poof.
All of them.
999 students burned to ashes instantly.
Except one.
Except one student who was indisposed. He was in the bathroom.
The one time a bathroom break saves your life and preserves human knowledge.
He comes back, finds the pile of ash, and Patanjali transmits the rest of the knowledge to him. But then, and this is the detail I love, a goat comes by and eats part of the manuscript.
Of course it does. Why wouldn't a goat eat the sacred text?
So the commentary we have today is actually called the Goat-Eaten Commentary. It shows the resilience of wisdom.
Even through hungry goats.
Through fire, death, hungry goat's knowledge survives. That's a divine glory.
Which brings us to the climax of the chapter. We've looked at the world, we've looked at the stories, we've hissed at villagers. Now Krishna talks about what happens inside us.
The lamp of knowledge? This is beautiful.
The metaphor of a lamp.
Krishna promises that for those who are constantly devoted, he destroys their ignorance. He doesn't just give them stuff, he lights a lamp.
Let's break down the metaphor. What is the lamp made of?
The commentators say the oil in the lamp is devotion or grace. You need that fuel. The breeze fanning the flame is your meditation constant focus.
And the wick.
That's the purified intellect. And the light itself is knowledge.
So this is where bhakti, devotion, and jnana, knowledge, merge.
Exactly. The devotee loves God, and in return, God grants the knowledge that chases away the darkness.
And the sources emphasize that this is a gift. It's grace.
Yes. You can study all you want. You can debate philosophy until you're blue in the face. But that final spark, that lighting of the lamp where you truly see, is described as a gift. It comes from the relationship.
It's not earned, it's given.
Right.
So we've gone from seeing God as a distant carpenter to a spider spinning the universe. We've learned to hiss but not bite. We've seen God in the sun, the ocean, the gamble, and the forgiveness of a kick to the chest.
It's a complete journey of perception. It rewires how you walk through the world.
As we wrap up, I want to touch on something personal from the source material. It mentioned this idea that the battle isn't just in the book. It's inside us.
The Arjuna versus Duryodhana dynamic.
Yeah.
This is the takeaway from Monday morning. We all have Arjuna inside us. The humble seeker, the one who wants to know the truth, the one who is willing to listen.
And we have Duryodhana.
The ego, the fighter, the one who thinks he's the carpenter, the one who says, I made this table, this is mine, I am separate from you, and I need to win.
He sees a world of separate things to conquer.
Exactly, and chapter 10 acts as a bridge, doesn't it?
How so?
Because Duryodhana, the ego, is isolated. He's fighting the world because he thinks the world is other. But Arjuna, through this Vibhuti Yoga, learns to see a world of one.
When you realize the person you're arguing with or the traffic you're stuck in is actually a manifestation of the divine spider's web.
The fight changes.
You aren't conquering the world, you're recognizing it.
Exactly. You stop fighting the wave and realize you are both water.
So here's the final thought for our listeners to mull over. We started with the question, where can I find God?
And after chapter 10, the question flips. It's no longer, where can I find God? It becomes,
where can I not see God?
Every open eye beholds the divine.
That's the mission. Thanks for diving deep with us.
Keep those eyes open and maybe give the next spider you see a little nod of respect.
We'll see you next time.